In our previous videos, we have talked about how JavaScript is a single-threaded language, and when we try to execute this piece of code that contains setTimeout, that now we know that is a browser API, it doesn't behave in the way that we think it should behave. If JavaScript is a single-threaded language, the output it should give is first, second, and last. Why? Because JavaScript follows this rule that is known as run to completion. So whenever it starts running the code, it always runs to completion, means only after completing that task, it goes to the next line. So console log will get executed. We should see the message first, then setTimeout. It will wait for 1 second. Why? Because JavaScript is a single-threaded language. And then we'll see the last message, that is last. So that is how we think it should be working. But when we execute this code inside console, we'll see the output is not the same, right? Here the output is first, last, and after 1 second we get second. So in this video, we will try to understand the reason behind that. And while doing so, we'll enhance our understanding about how the JavaScript code gets executed. So we know the first thing that happens whenever you want to execute a code is a global execution context gets created. So we'll go ahead and create a global execution context. Now we have also talked about is we have something known as call stack. So I'll create a call stack and I'll put it right next to it. So first thing we will do is call this function console log first. As soon as you're calling this function, what it will do, it will add console log to the call stack. And here we'll go ahead and add console log. After doing this, what will happen is we'll create a function execution context of console log. So we'll paste it here, and here we'll name the function to be console log, and we'll execute the first line, that is console log first, and we will log the message first inside console. So we'll create a box here that will represent console. So here what we can see is at 0 millisecond, we'll see the message first. Now, because the execution context is over, we'll go ahead and delete this execution and also remove this console log from the call stack. Now it will move on to next line. And here, what we can see is we are using setTimeout. And we have already discussed in our previous video that setTimeout is not a part of JavaScript. It is a part of the host environment. In our case, it is browser. So JavaScript always runs in a host environment. Here it is running inside a browser. So browser is a host environment. So wherever JavaScript runs, host environment also provides a lot of functionalities or help, you can say, using API. API stands for Application Programming Interface, an interface through which we can communicate with them. So here setTimeout is a web browser API, and this API is responsible for timer functionality, right? So what will happen is this one is not a part of JavaScript. This one is a part of web browser API. So it will not directly go inside call stack. Do you know what will happen? Inside browser, we have a part called web browser API, and web browser API is going to manage that. So we will introduce our new actor, that is web browser API. And web browser API has name, it can have a callback, and it can also have a thing like whether it is completed or not completed. So when you say setTimeout, what are you actually doing? You are communicating with web browser API and telling them, hey web browser API, I want to run a timer. Can you help me here? So you're like, so web browser API is like, perfect, why not? So what you're doing here is you're saying like setTimeout is a kind of timer API. So as soon as you're calling this function, web browser API will take a note of what you're calling. And what you're calling here? You're calling timer API. So it will be like, okay, the programmer is trying to call a timer API, so I'll take a note of it and I'll put it right here. So timer is added. And what do you want this timer to do? You want this timer to call this function. So this is the callback function, right? I'll copy this and paste it here. We'll make it really small, but we understand that this is the function it is, and we'll put it here. So web browser API has taken a note of this is a timer API and this is the function that needs to be called once it is completed. So in the starting, will it be completed? It will not be completed. So right now I'm just going to put a cross mark, and in that way we'll get to understand it is not completed. Because we are at 0 millisecond right now, as soon as first is done, we'll move on to next line. The next line is not a part of JavaScript. So using this API or interface, we are communicating with web browser API and telling them, go ahead, register a timer. And once it is completed, you have to call this function that is going to do something in future, right? As soon as that is done, what JavaScript will do, it will skip the part of set timeout and directly move to the next part. So here you can understand that even though JavaScript is a single threaded language, what is happening here? So whenever it is a part of JavaScript, I'll execute it by putting it inside call stack. But whenever it is not a part of JavaScript, I need to interact with web browser API and communicate it to them. What do we want from using that API? And that is exactly what I did. So we started here, it is a part of JavaScript, execute it, go to the next, it is a web browser API. So I'm just communicating to web browser API by saying, go ahead, register a timer. You have to call a callback function after 1000 milliseconds. As soon as you're done, web browser API will take a note of that, and you don't have to wait here. You can keep moving. So can you see, even though the task is asynchronous or task is something that is taking extra amount of time, we are not stopping there. What we are doing, we are delegating our task to web browser API and moving to the next part. We are still at 0 millisecond, or maybe make it like 1 or 10 millisecond. 1000 millisecond is still not completed yet. Now we are on last line. What do we see here? Is it a part of web browser API? No, it is not a part of web browser API. So what do we see here? We see a console log with the message of last. We'll put that inside call stack and we'll say, go ahead, add console log inside your stack. So we'll say console.log. And as soon as you call a function, what happens? We create a function execution context. The name of this context is console log. Here we are logging the message last. So as soon as it will get executed, inside console will log the message last. And what time is it right now? So it is around, make it 10 milliseconds. Is the timer completed yet? No, it is not, because we have to wait for 1000 milliseconds. And as soon as the execution is over, we'll go ahead and delete this function execution context, and we'll also delete console log from call stack. Now call stack is empty. Our execution is empty. But in our web browser API, there is something that is still waiting for us to be finished. So time is still 10 milliseconds. Say time went by and it is completed now. So what we will do, we'll delete this part and we'll mark this as completed. So now this task is completed. And as soon as this task is completed, what web browser API will do? Web browser API will take this callback function from here and put it inside call stack. So inside call stack, we are going to put console.log. I'm going to write it short by just saying console.log. So in this case, what is happening is web browser API was taking account of whether the timer or any other web browser API is completed or not. Once it is completed, it will push this inside console.log, and in that way what will happen is there is something inside call stack, so we'll go ahead, create the function execution context. This is the execution context of console, and here what we are logging the message second. So second will get logged here at what point of time? Around 1000 millisecond. And we will see the message second. And as soon as that happens, the function execution context will be deleted from here and the call stack will be empty. And at last, the message that we see is first last, and second. And if we try to execute this code inside console, what we will see? We'll see exact same thing, that is first, last, and second after 1000 milliseconds. So in this video, what we did, we introduced a new component, that is web browser API, that is used to manage any kind of web browser API that we are interacting with. Here we are interacting with setTimeout. And because we are interacting with setTimeout, and setTimeout is a web browser API will take account of all these things. And as soon as it is completed, it will push the callback function into call stack. But important thing is, every execution will take place inside call stack. And because there is only one stack or there is only one thread, at one point of time, there can only be one execution. Don't worry, in our future videos, we are going to introduce some more actors that can make this process a lot more organized. So in this way, we learned about web browser API, how by using web browser API, we can interact with them, and how they can add some tasks to call stack and make everything work smoothly.